Okay, okay. Hello, hello. Or as Armchair Tuna would say, what is the deadliest creature in Grounded 2? Now you might think it's Axel or King Dozer with their super OP attacks, but this is actually not the case. I love torturing him with that. It's so funny. For no reason, too. Oh my lord, it's so funny. Anyway, IBM attempt. Baby. I need food though. Because I was yapping with sheep too long last stream. It was very necessary. Oh my lord, bro. Yeah, you're done, buddy. You're done. You're done. Oh. Okay. This needs channel 2. Oh, stop that. Not Rose. Chat, does this speak? I'm not even gonna try to parry at this point. I'm too lazy. Kind of forgot about this. Classic. Oh, I just forgot that stupid recipe. Oh. And honestly, delete this before I eat it by accident. Huh? Why is that not like the normal infected brood in terms of hitbot? Are we up there, bro? What are we doing? Bye bye, chat. Paper out of the way. Y'all will see the importance of that later, but for now, let's fight the IBM. With shock, of course. Oh, cutting it there. Cutting it. She does have venom though, so we're gonna have to be careful about that. I don't think that should be carried over to her. You know what do I know? Why are you the ground man? Oh, backpedal. Like, what are we doing? Thank you. There is us there. Oh, hello. Are you going to... I'm going to imagine that says keep playing Grounded after 1 year. I can't actually see that because YouTube is very stupid and has a heart. The answer is yes. Just not as, like, frequently. Let me actually turn on the live chat. Yeah. Hello, Draven. Am I reading that right? Draven. I don't know. How you doing? How are you doing? Man, I don't know if fighting the IBM just after waking up is a good idea, but you know what? Who cares? Alright, just looking grounded players, that's fair. Yeah, I'm about to head into phase 2, so yeah. I don't know how much you've seen, but let's just say this is not a normal IBM New Game Plus 4 fight. Huh? Oh yeah, by the way, I have a system where I only read chat after a certain portion of boss health has been down. For the IBM, it's just phase transition because it just works nicely. Yeah, if I'm not reading chat, that's why. Okay. Yeah. Oh, this IBM does have shock, so if I get hit at all in the next phase by any of her 5 hits, I am basically just guaranteed to die. I don't chat much, haven't found anyone that still plays Grounded, that's fair. Completely fair. It is hard. Grounded, as much as I hate to say it, Grounded 1 is kind of a dead game. Everybody's moved on to Grounded 2, and then everybody got fed up with Grounded 2. Understandably so. As much as I love Grounded 2, it is so horribly broken right now. You can't even map your keybinds, bro. It's like, what are we doing? Why are we not able to map our keybinds? Makes zero sense. Oh. These 3 time it is. Wish me luck. Your fast hit. No, that's... Uh-oh. I might be dead here. How did I not die? That is so cringe. I need her to do her fast hit, so I'm not fumbling. Oh, they should have shield reset there. Next should be your slowed. If it's your fast, I'm actually going to crash out. I barely parried that. On. Uh-oh. Yeah, so that was actually... What set of armor and tools do you think are worth getting for late game? Okay, so for armor, this is gonna sound crazy. Ladybug, if you upgrade on that sleek, it's actually one of the most broken effects in the game. It gives you increased healing. So basically, if you have a full set of sleek Ladybug armor, you heal to full health with a beefy smoothie. Really broken. Not to mention you got Bandies, which pretty much out-heal Widow Venom, which, like, that's actually diabolical. Bandies should not be out-healing 5 stacks of Widow Venom, but here we are with Ladybug armor. Another set, too, less a full set and more so like if you want to mix and match Fire Ant armor. Each individual piece effect gives you like a 20% damage increase. Figure out how to word that. It reduces the enemy's defense by 20%, but that's just equivalent to a 20% damage increase. Another set, if you are into bows, Antlion armor, which is what I'm using. Antlion armor, it's relatively tanky, but furthermore, it also like pretty much doubles your bow speed, which is absolutely insane. Doesn't it also increase the damage you take? So Sleek does, but like the Sleek effect more than outweighs the sacrifice defense. If you're talking about the armor itself, here's a horrifying fun fact for you. Ladybug armor actually protects you against late game enemies better than Fire Ant armor or Antlion armor does. A heavy set of tier 2 armor is equivalent to a medium set of tier 3 armor. Now, there are some scenarios where one's slightly better than the other, but to save you simple math, or complex math, medium tier 3 equals bulky tier 2, or heavy tier 2, my bad. So Ladybug armor, Fire Ant armor, they have the same stats in terms of armor. Just crazy. In terms of tools, Toenail Scimitar is a great one. Yeah, I was just typing. Toenail Scimitar is a great one. Blade Master reduces enemy attack output by like 35%. That's just 35% extra hits you can take. That's kind of busted. Toenail Scimitar with the infection also reduces that by like another 10%. So you can basically take twice as much damage if you use the Toenail Scimitar. Actually insane. Another great weapon, the Mint Mace. It deletes half the enemies in the game if you have somewhat decent parry skill. What else? Spicy Cortana is great for grinding anything weak to spicy. What else? What else? Those are definitely some decent options. Termite Axe, actually. The Termite Axe is one of the strongest tier 3 weapons, and it's likely going to be one of the first to acquire. I should clarify, it's one of the strongest one-handed weapons. So, it is like top 5 strongest weapon of tier 3, which is crazy as a one-hander. Because that spot's supposed to be taken by tier or two-handed. In terms of trinkets, Giddy Goop's decent. Where's Termite Armor? Honestly, Termite Armor's hit or miss, or they're, my bad. See, the YouTube heart is actually screwing me over. If I was able to scroll, I'd be able to read that properly. There's a Termite Axe? Yes, there is. That is your tier 3 axe. You get that later in the game. Yeah, you got a Termite Axe. I should clarify though, Termite Axe is only good if you have Chopper. If you don't have Chopper, it's kind of mid. It doesn't suck, but it's not great if you don't have Chopper tier 3, so make sure to get that. Trinkets, Thor's Pendant is... It's kind of fallen off, but it's still good old and reliable. But it would be better to use the element axes. Yes. The elemental axes are the strongest weapons in the game for raw damage. Mint Mace is next, followed by the Club of the Mother Demon, followed by the Termite Axe. Though, if we're going damage per second per stamina per second, which is a very complex system, basically it's DPS, but factoring stamina consumption into account, the Termite Axe is actually the strongest, or second strongest weapon in the game. Only being beaten out by the Elemental Axes, so... Yeah, and the Elemental Axes, like, you do have to get into New Game Plus for most of them. The Acid Edge is kind of... It's a bit overrated. It's strong, don't get me wrong, but not having that 25% extra damage is a huge nerf to it. Though you do get Frosted Flake as soon as you get into New Game Plus, so kinda can't complain. Thor's Pendant, Giddy Goop. Shield Solidifier is another really underrated trinket. Alright, I think that's all my questions so far. Fair enough. I will attempt another brood. Hopefully I don't get stunned. Because if I do, then I probably just die. My fate was sealed as soon as I didn't parry that one attack. And she's got literally the worst loadout she can have. That is crazy. I was wondering why I was so low on stamina. Why are you in the water, ma'am? I can't fight you when you're in that. So you get crit, and then you stagger me. And the second you stagger me more with your 5-hit. And then I just die. What are we doing? Okay, initiate project, get the fuck out. This brood is gonna take like twice as long to kill compared to normal. So cringe. Phase 1's only going to take 50% longer. How did that second hit not land? Why are you cheating in favor of me? Okay, we have to kill her from range now because of Venom. So damn cringe. How many new game pluses have I gone through? 4. The reason she has so much health? I have 5x creature health scaling. I also got 5x fall damage, food and water drain. And half day rate. Lost 4 times resource respawn rate. Or, sorry, 0.5. This effectively means that resources take 4 times longer to respawn, which is kind of insane. We got lose forever, which is why you have to reload upon every death. Difficulty that I made, it's called Masochist Mode. Didn't know you could adjust your game to make it harder? Oh yeah. You do lose achievements, which kind of sucks, because, like, if I really wanted to, I could be like, 0 health scaling, no player damage, God mode activated. But, which is honestly fair. Oh, yeah. On to phase 2. Here rises the arrows that rose from the dead, still feeling the trees long gone, yet the spore remains untouched for its twisted game bite increased in speed and hands. Why did I fuck up that berry? Okay, I'm actually just fumbling. I'm fumbling so hard it's not even funny. Maybe I should try actually focusing on the boss instead of singing random lyrical burn. Holy slow reaction time, bro. How am I fumbling in phase 2? This is the easiest phase of the fight. Honestly, full selling. Okay, hit her. I think I could hit her once more with the shield. I couldn't, but luckily I did not pay the price for it. No new chats. Alright. We move on to phase 3 then. This is going to be utter hell. I need to be really careful for that quick fast hit, because she will stagger me with every single hit. And Zero Shaman using that. You're so cringe for that. I now have zero shame, like full zero shame for using that. Oh! Like, you're actually so cringe for that. Why is that a feature in the game? Why is that a feature in the game? I don't know what she's doing the fast hit. That's when. No. Ow. I should have died there. Zero shaman using that now. Fair enough. Well, it's not a good time. I had to take damage there. No. That fucked. What material should I work on maintaining for start of the game? Sap. Sap is the hottest resource you run out later on. So the way I'd recommend managing that is go to like the twig. The branch here. The oak tree, or if you can somehow manage it, the stump, I guess. Just go with the oak tree or the twig. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna build sap collectors. A ton of sap collectors. These give 5 sap each across, I think it's a single in-game day. It might be a little longer than that, but you get the point. For each sap collector, so get like 10 of these at least. That'll get you 50 sap every in-game day if you patient enough, which is honestly extremely broken. You need sap later on for a ton of things. Hold up, let me actually loot the body first. Because I'm about to run out of loot luck. Okay. Yeah, sap gives you bandages, the most overpowered healing item in this game. Because while they don't heal that much, if you get hit and you can hide behind your shield for a little bit, you can just be like, okay, pop a bandy. Let my health trickle up. Instead of being like, oh, you know, I took a pint of damage. Let me waste a full heal. Right? So bandies are super important for managing that. However, sap is also used in literally every single upgrade recipe for New Game Plus. And that's a lot of these you need per piece of armor or weapon, right? So you are going to need a ton of sap. Furthermore, I also recommend getting some grinders and grinding up a good ol' weed stems, because weed stems give you 8 plant fiber per grind, which means you can get 40 plant fiber from 5 weed stems in a grinder per grinder. So if you can build 5 of those, that's 200 plant fiber. 200 plant. I built a platform for zip lines, goes around the whole tree, leading to the toy box. Yup, that's where you're gonna build your sap then. Maybe not necessarily on the platform, because that might make things scuffed. Obviously, you're gonna have to tinker around for what works specifically for you. You're so cringe for that. Not you, the game. For context, I just got a sour damage up best with this, so this is completely redundant, and I need fresh damage up best, and I got fresh damage up major instead, just for context. What else do you need to manage early game? Silk Rope. Silk Rope is huge. For the early game, what you're gonna do for Silk is just run through the hedge, kill spiderlings. This is also a good way to grind up your weapon mutations since spiderlings are weak, right? Just hold off on Barbarian because the bleed will more than likely take kills from you. And if creatures die by the bleed of the spiky sprig, then it doesn't count for a Barbarian kill. Which, by the way, when you kill a creature, you don't have to kill, like, let's say I were to get a little fist kill off the infected bird mother, right? You don't have to kill the entire bird mother's health bar with your fists. You just have to land the last hit, right? So keep that in mind. You could actually go ahead and like get these things down with like the pebble axe and then finish the last hit off with a fist, whatnot. Yeah, the hedge is a really great one. Another really great one to keep on top of is Might Fuzz, which you get by just going along Rake Rock, along this twig, which you can also get a ton of sap here as well. Then over here, if you need even more, there's some near this laser, there's some near this field station, and there's some right here. Might Fuzz doesn't have a ton of uses, but it has important uses. That being, primarily, Fuzz in the Rocks, which is just easily the best healing item in the game. Why? Well, it gives you plus max health whenever you heal, so you're able to take more hits upon getting hit. Basically, it increases your chances of survival for successive hits, which is just busted. And it's also incredibly cheap. It's the cheapest good smoothie in the game, and it's also the best good smoothie in the game in terms of healing. The only other one I would say is Waspidos, but like, who's actually grinding this, bro? I'm a top tier player. Even I ain't got the time for this. Don't bother. Another thing too is it's also useful for mite loaves, which like they aren't that good, but like it's nice to not have to worry about food every 2 seconds or however much it is. You don't have to worry about food too much, but it's nice for this. What else does it do? Oh yeah, it also does arrows as well. Is mainly, I'm not gonna lie, it's mainly just using Fuzz in the Rocks, which you need tons of. Another material I'd recommend keeping up on early, grub hide. I can use Waspido because my base is on top of the wasp nest. Nice. Like I said, if you can get Waspidotes, they're great for creatures that inflict poison. It's just like you get the same amount of work done with Waspido, or sorry, with Fuzz on the Rocks, Mithridatism. What I'm saying is you don't need Waspidotes. If you can get them, great. If you can't, also great. Let me think here. Yeah, now I know you said early game resources, but these aren't early game resources, but resources you do need to keep on top of. Toenails. These things take 10 in-game days to respawn. 10. So, genuinely, if you see a toenail, actually go out of your way for it, because you do need a decent amount. There's only 8 that spawn on the map at a given time. So you are literally, even if you were to harvest all the toenails day 1, you would still have to wait 10 game days before getting a toenail scimitar if you don't use science in the super duper. So, yeah. Stay on top of toenail scimitars unless you want to waste 900 science per toenail. Which, I don't think you would want to be doing. I mean, I guess we could say lint. Lint and pupa, if you're struggling for those are both found in the undershed. The lint on the top parts with the parkouring, and the lint is found in the sinkhole where the mosquitoes are. So you will have to clear the mosquitoes first. Oh yeah, that's actually a really great one to keep on top of. Candies. Keep on top of literally every single candy type, especially salt, even though salt's not a candy. Salts are found in the salt mines. Right here and there, you will have to kill a pit antlion, and 2 more antlions in the mines, unless you're just willing to take hits. Yeah, keep on top of these. Also keep on top of twinkling shells in the undershed. Honestly, just going with the pipe is more than enough to keep yourself satisfied. You don't need more than you get in the undershed. If you do, I'm not gonna lie, you might be a bit greedy. Because that's every 2 in-game days that you're able to get, twinkling shells. And you get like 15, which is more than enough for a single upgrade. So every 2 days you're able to get another level 9 weapon if you keep on top of that. So yeah, to recap, sap, all the elemental stuff. You're gonna want plant fiber. And you're also gonna want Might Fuzz as well. By extension, clay and pebblets, which are honestly really easy to get. Clay is found near any large body of water. Aside from the pond in Moldorc Castle, oddly enough. You don't find it near those. I don't know why. And pebblets are found near the picnic table over here. Wouldn't farming mussel... Oh yeah, mussels. That is another thing. You make a very great point. Mussel sprouts are probably one of the most important things to farm. Because out of everything I've said so far, the only truly important thing to grind there is sap. Sap is, like, please don't undermine this when I say it. Sap is the most important resource in this game. It's not even remotely close. So genuinely grind as much sap as you can. Right? Mussel sprouts are probably second most important. And to make mussel sprouts... Now, you don't have to go with this exact design. Just giving you a little bit of inspiration as to what you could do. I find personally that 35 is enough. What you're gonna do... Oh my lol, bro. Nobody cares. Is you have a setup like this. And it's like a 5x7 setup. This gives you 35 every 3 in-game days. Which, just for reference, the Pawn Lab only gives you, I want to say, whatchamacallit. The Pawn Lab gives you 30 every 5 days. So, it would be pretty much tripling your mussel sprout count. If you're struggling on that. Again, couple that with Beefy Fuzz on the rocks, and, like, you literally don't even have to think about grinding it. Couldn't you also grind mosquitoes for heals? I mean, you could. It's just that heal bosses are very, very clunky to use, for one. And for 2, the second you equip the heal bossa, you can't block. So it's good. You just have to be very, very smart with how you use them. Because you can't use them like the conventional item, right? You have to, I guess, realize, hey, I'm not going to get hit for like 5 seconds. Now I can use them. Because again, you can't block with the heal bosses. And they only heal as much as a beefy smoothie anyways. In multiplayer, they are a goated choice, though, if you're playing with people, but by the way you were talking earlier, I'm assuming you don't. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Because again, if you're not playing in multiplayer, they're kind of... It's not that they're bad, it's just the fact that they're dangerous to use. No, I don't. I'm about to get ready to play WoW mode. Oh, that's why you're asking all the questions. Fair enough. Fair enough. If I could give my honest tips for WoW mode, first things first, please do not undermine the utility of these bandies. They are, when I say they're the best heal in the game, I mean it. They are skill-based heals, but like, given you're going into WoW mode, skill is kind of an inevitability. You need skill to play WoW. I don't think that should be a surprise to anybody. Right. Yeah. What else? Shields are also really good as well. Just keep on top of stamina. Because shields, they legitimately allow you to just cancel half the damage. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I already beat the game, but I don't have all the needed info for that. Yeah, that's fair. It's 100% fair. Shields, I'm not gonna lie. If you're struggling to parry ladybugs, they have a guaranteed counter, and that is the shield. Legitimately, all you need to do when you encounter a ladybug is, oh, you're charging up attack, hold block. Oh, you're charging up attack, hold block. Do that while also making sure your stamina doesn't run out, because if your stamina runs out, you will get one-tapped even through your block. So, ladybugs are quite lethal for that reason. But if you just hold block while managing your stamina, she legitimately, unless she stuns you and rolls a god roll in fast attack speed, she legitimately just can't kill you. What should I use milk molars for first to make the game smoother? Without a shadow of doubt, go mutations. Go mutations, then go health. Like, some upgrades into health, then some into healing. What you could also do is stamina. Whatever you do, do not upgrade food and water until last. I know it's gonna suck, which is why I said Might Loaf is pretty good. Here's another thing too. If you're not used to using tons of canteens in your inventory, you're gonna have to get used to that. There is no avoiding using canteens on WoW. And I just took damage. That's crazy. All damage. Yeah, you're gonna have to use smoothies. Or not smoothies, canteens. Right? Because your water, it drains, I want to say, like, whatchamacallit. Your water fully depletes in, like, 10 minutes. So, as opposed to like what 20 to 30 or whatever it is normally. It's it's bad. It is really bad on WoW. Um, yeah. Canteens, you're gonna have to get used to eating roasts. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Most of the stuff's kind of debatable. I would grind some things into health until you have like at least a bar and a half of health. Meat shields can carry from there, but the number one thing you need to grind is mutation loadout. Just trying to get everything down so at the start I can get an early start. Yeah, I get that. I feel that. Type some more questions while I do phase one, and I'll answer them then. That way I'm not sort of like waiting. Can add more at once. You will. Hopefully not in an overwhelming way. Oh, what do you have? Yo, Loki, kind of peak. That's not peak. Why are you in the water, man? He doesn't have shot. I low-key have a very strong fighting chance. He doesn't have venom either, yo! This might actually be the easiest IBM with high defense I've ever fought. Aside from like just high defense IBM. Oh yeah, another tip that I'll really give. If you haven't already, please, for the love of God, master most of the parrying. You don't have to master every parry technique, but like, make it so that you can parry at least 80 to 90% of the attacks in a fight. Unless it's something like the Widow or the IBM. If it's the Widow or IBM, you can suffice for like 50%. Because those you kind of just have to increase naturally over time. But for most other creatures, yeah, you're gonna need high parry skill for WoW. It is very unforgiving for damage. However much damage you take right now on medium, you take 50% more on WoW. Alright. So make sure to keep that in mind. Or like if you don't have whatchamacallit, good parry strats, have like other strats to compensate. You get what I mean? Okay. Does base location really matter? When do you think you should go into New Game Plus? Are mixers worth doing? And is bow and arrow worth using? Okay, all very good questions. When should you go into New Game Plus? When you're comfortable taking down the IBM. When I say comfortable, I mean you're able to kill her 10 times in a row consistently. It doesn't have to be every time, because even some of the greatest players in the world will make the most diabolical fumbles, right? But on average, make sure you have the skill to beat 5 IBMs in a row, then you're ready for New Game Plus, I would say. I know that's a high benchmark to clear, but New Game Plus is an even higher benchmark to clear, and you will hate yourself if you don't have that skill. So, you'll probably hate yourself even if you do have that skill, because New Game Plus is just brutally unforgiving. Are mixers worth doing? I'm not gonna lie, if you're not going for the 100%, not really, no. Because, like, the only things locked behind mixers is, okay, you get, like, 15k science from the upper yard mixers, you get 25 from the lower, so what's that? You get 35k science from the mixers, you get tier 3 of Rascal Rogue, and you get the Prod Smacker. If those sound worth it to you, then go ahead, do the mixers, but if those don't sound worth it and you're not worried about 100%, honestly, don't bother with the mixers. They're more effort than they're worth. Does base location matter? Yes and no. It makes the playthrough easier, but honestly, I think it honestly doesn't really matter if I'm going to be honest. The only one I would say, the only thing I would really say does matter for base location is base raids. Um, in terms of base raids, if you build on the pond or somewhere where ground creatures can't get you, you will get exclusively flying raids, which are by far the worst to deal with. So if you can, try to build somewhere where ground creatures can raid you. But if you can also go ahead and, like, say, like a tree house or a wheelbarrow base, if you can manage to get a build on top of either of those or something of the sorts, you can get ground raids that legitimately just don't affect you. Either way, or otherwise, honestly, base location doesn't really matter. Um, if anything, it just reduces travel time or whatnot. Are you gonna do this with Grounded 2 when it comes out? Yeah, definitely doing Maskless mode. Our yeah, fully yeah. Are bow and arrow worth using? It depends on when and where in the game you are. Against things like pit antlions with salt arrows, or the assistant manager. Actually, yeah, the assistant manager, salt arrows are legitimately the best weapon against him. So for fights like the assistant manager, Director Schmector when he has not summoned anything. The Mant is also another decent one with fresh arrows and sharpshooter. The Wasp Queen is a pretty decent fight to use the Bard's Bow with. P.S. If you use a bow and arrow, try to use full antlion set because it literally doubles your attack speed, which is insane. Another thing too, and this is a really high tech trip, ants, if you hit them like 3 times with a club until they're stunned, then go to the side of them, shoot their eyeball, shoot them 3 times, it kills even fire ants on WoW with a sprig bow and arrow. It is really strong. So stun them with a club, shoot them in the eyes. That only works for ants though. Otherwise, I'm not gonna lie, bows kind of leave you weak, and I wouldn't really recommend using them until New Game Plus. Once you get to New Game Plus, it's eh. You can't get the Salt Morningstar before Assistant Manager. You need Salt Globs, which are locked behind the Assistant Manager. If you could get the Salt Morningstar, I would agree with you, but you can't. The only elemental weapons you can get are the elemental arrows. Otherwise, it's level 5 gear until Assistant Manager has been downed. Because you need the sandbox chip. Yeah. Again, if you were able to get the Salt Morningstar, that would 100% be the way to go. But you can't, which sucks. In terms of how many boss body parts you should use or should get, honestly, I would say craft every boss armor and weapon, and then have like one of each. And from there, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, you can kind of just dupe a New Game Plus. The only one I would say excessively grind is IBM, because in New Game Plus, if you get hit, even on mild, even a single time by IBM, there is a very highly likely chance you just die. Because the stagger rates are insane. It's like, not only do you have to be good enough to parry her, but you also have to be good enough to maneuver her around her arena so you don't get hit. In terms of boss body parts, again, just craft everything you can realistically craft with each body part, or yeah, with each boss part. Make sure you, at bare minimum, have like, yeah, yeah. So every boss armor, every boss weapon, sticky boss sauce, specifically sticky boss sauce, and you're just gonna dupe it in New Game Plus because you have enough science. Every boss head mount and stuffed creature. Make sure to get those because those give loot luck. You need that for New Game Plus. If you want to get the trinkets, get those as well. And aside from that, oh yeah, the multi-hoagie, which you're just gonna dupe the hoagie, even pre-New Game Plus. Don't bother trying to craft the hoagie manually. Just dupe it. I don't care what stage of game you're at. It is cheaper to dupe it every single time. Hope that answers all your questions. Yeah. Let's go to phase 2. Why is she summoning bombs on the ceiling, bro? This is not tech. That somehow didn't hit. Ow. Bro. Do what I mean? Even some of the best players in the world fumble sometimes, so... Definitely allowed to fumble. For skill level. When they go to New Game Plus, but... just make sure you're consistent, is all. Oh, yeah, if you can, try to get a level 9 Spicy Katana pre-New Game Plus as well, because the Broodmother is what locks your late-game recipes for, like, upgrading. Right? Yeah. New chats, fair enough. Yeah, make sure to get the level 9 Spicy Katana, because the Broodmother locks your later game upgrading. You need to kill the Broodmother at least once in order to upgrade past level 9 in New Game Plus, so make sure you have a Spicy Katana so the New Game Plus fight is easier on New Game 1. Isn't the Blaster the Moldy Matriarch better to use for bosses? No. Blaster the Moldy Matriarch is one of the worst weapons in the game. It is pretty much exclusively utility. It's decent for clearing out hordes of fodder enemies like mites. You can just one-tap a horde of mites, but like, I'm not gonna lie, the spicy staff kind of just does that better. It's more so... Oh yeah, that's another thing too. Make sure to get the Blaster of the Moldy Matriarch pre-New Game Plus. Because that... It's a reusable bomb, essentially. A reusable tier 3 bomb at that. So, you craft the Blaster of the Moldy Matriarch, you will never have to craft another bomb again. Which is just... I don't think I need to explain why that's good. As a weapon, though, it prevents you from parrying, which, like... just leaves you open to get one tap by half the enemies in the game. Kinda sucks. It just outright heals the infected Broodmother. Like, it literally does negative damage to her. You heal her instead of doing damage. It can't hit any flying enemies. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, yeah, and it has an abysmal attack speed, too. Like, it rivals the hammer in terms of how bad it is. Which, speaking of, if you're gonna go into WoW mode, try not to use hammers as weapons. They actually genuinely suck. Even if the enemy's weak to busting, it is almost always better to even use something like an axe against them. I'm not kidding. Because they swing so slowly that before you can even get an attack off, they've already got an attack and now you have to block, so you can't do any damage. Assuming you're not face tanking damage, and, well, when you get 1 to 2 tapped, face tanking is not an option. You can't face tank a 1 tap. It's decent for starting a fight, like pulling aggro, but then again, you can also just use a crossbow for that. Like, when I beat the game, I used roly-poly armor, and I don't know if it's better than Ladybug. Roly-poly and Ladybug, they have their individual use cases. Roly-poly is better for just straight tanking. Whereas Ladybug is better for healing, honestly. Bulky Roly-poly is kind of a vibe. One of the better sets in the game. I would say Ladybug's better just because it's relatively as tanky. And you also get the heals, but, like, it's kind of debatable between the two of better tank build. Ladybug's definitely better against the Widow, though. I don't think that's debatable, because, like, the high venom damage. Yeah. Also, if you go into WoW mode, get ready, because, there's going to be virtually no difference between sleek assassin's armor and bulky roly-poly armor in terms of defense if you don't go, like, all-out defense buffs. Which, speaking of, that's another thing to keep in mind. The more defense you add, the better each subsequent defense effect gets. So, I'm gonna pull up my calculator so you can, like, sort of visualize what I mean by this. Let's say a piece of armor has 10 defense, right? Or, like, 10% resistance. Let's multiply that by 50%, right? 50%? Okay, now we got... Or, that's not multiplied by 50%. That's, wanted to add 50%, right? Okay, so now we got 15, right? But we add another 50%? See how that's skyrocketing? For each subsequent effect added? That's defense in this game. The more you add, the more broken it gets. So do keep that in mind. If you're struggling against bosses, like, let me actually show you real footage of me versus an even harder variant of the WoW mode Broodmother, or IBM. So this is basically what you're going to be fighting on steroids. And she's doing the same amount of damage, okay? She's doing the same amount of damage. Right? Let me just find a part where we actually do get... That was her most lethal attack. That was her most lethal attack right there. Look at this. Boom. Most lethal attack. You want to know what the crazy thing about that is? I had 3 defense buffs, or debuffs. That means that that attack right there did 3 times the amount of damage it was normally supposed to. Like, I am playing like an absolute idiot here. Look at this. Look at that damage. How can you add more defense? Okay. So I go over it, I think, at the start. Can't remember where. But essentially, what adds... Yeah, let me actually just show you in game, because that's just easier. Actually, no, it's not. Hold that thought. I'll show you after the IBM kill, because in order to show you, I'm going to actually need to show you the effects, and I can't do that when IBM is going to royally fuck me in the ass. So hold that thought. I'll tell you after this IBM kill, alright? Okay. Let's go into phase 3. Yeah, nice try. Need to hold block there for the bomb. What was that, man? Thank you. Oh, hell no. Get out. For reference, when she has those effects, you literally can't do anything. Because if she hits you with the fast 5-hit combo, she literally staggers on every single hit. No, bro. Stop that. Yeah, I knew you were gonna do that. No! Get out of that godforsaken tunnel, bro! We skipped it? Okay. I was about to say press X to doubt. Beautiful. Holy fumble. Just finish her off. Holy peak cinema. Okay. Easy enough. All of them horrible. Fair enough. Okay. Now to answer your question. High defense. Wait, why do you use tier 1 axe? It's not a tier 1 axe. That's something I get a question on every single time. This is an effective New Game Plus. Don't let the appearance of an infused weapon fool you. Now these two, they do actually look different because it's different level. But to show you, like, raw stats, right? This is a Larva Blade. This is a Black Ant Sword. This is a Tick Macuadal. Except they're not actually any of those things. They are all an infused sword. They're just different skins. They all have the same exact stats. The only thing that changes how good they are these modifiers you see here, which are completely random. That's why I'm grinding the IBM. This axe has a fresh damage up best modifier, which gives 50% extra fresh damage. Couple this with my one trinket I have, which is implant weakness fresh, another 50% fresh damage, plus fresh damage at best, another 50% fresh damage. And I am legitimately doing 150% extra damage. In other words, I am doing 2.5 extra damage, or 2.5 times extra damage per hit. That's already factoring in the fact that this rinky-dink axe has as much attack potency per hit as something like the Antlion Greatsword. It's strong. Really strong. Anyways, to answer your question from earlier, what adds or subtracts resistances? Well, let's start off with the temporary ones first. Black Oxburger. This adds 2% extra resistance plus 15 health. Now, I know 2% resistance might not seem good, and on its own, it's not. But remember what I said earlier. The more defense you add, the more busted each new piece of defense you add gets. Plus the extra health, this gives you a free Milk Molar upgrade in health. Think about that. That's truly where this thing shines. Sticky Fuzz on the Rocks. This gives you another 10 health. That's another free Milk Molar in health, which is just stupid. You have Human Food, which gives you 10% resistance. Make sure all of those are sticky, the smoothies, by the way, because they last 3 minutes instead of just... So stacking is what's good. Yes, it doesn't matter, because, like, bulky roly-poly armor, when I said earlier that this... Hold up, let me... Like, you see how that's 7.5, whereas that's 2.5? On WoW mode, that means jack shit. I'm not going to lie. This and this have the exact same stats on WoW. Like, not the exact same, but, like, on their own, on its own, roly-poly armor's defense is ass. However, add with it, which, speaking of, if you're going defense, you're going to want bulky roly-poly. You could go bulky Moldy Matriarch or Mother Demon, but honestly, I wouldn't recommend it, because roly-poly allows you to just hold the block for a really, really long time. Another thing too, Meat Shield, this is a free 3 Milk Molar upgrades into health. So we just literally doubled our health with those 3 buffs, by the way. Doubled our health. Not at all crazy. Spicy Safety gives a 50% damage reduction on all smashing or stabbing attacks, which is like a third of the attacks in the game. Run it anyways. Run it anyways. Corporate Kickback, you get this by killing Schmector. It literally gives you lifesteal. So however much damage you do, you heal, which is, like, insane, because you typically do 2 bars of health in the late game. So, you're legitimately just healing 2 bars of health per hit. Not at all insane. You know what? Specifically the Toenail Scimitar. Specifically this. Because this infection gives 50% resistance, but also because it's Blade Master, you get infinite stamina, right? Temporarily removes your exhaustion timer. That's infinite stamina, is what that translates to. And you also lower their defense, or sorry, their damage. So you were literally taking 50% extra hits just from that alone. Another thing you would want. Now this one's optional, but like it's good if you can get it. Is the defense badge. Now the way this thing works, it reduces the amount of damage you do by like I want to say 35% in return for 15% extra damage resist. Go for it if you want, because I'm not gonna lie. Already with the setup you have, you're going to be face tanking almost everything in the game, and that's if you're being stupid. I'm going to assume you're not going to be like, oh hey, here's a fat thing of damage that's coming my way. Let me just sit here and wait for it to hit me. No, you're gonna be smart. You're gonna block with your shield, right? So, realistically speaking, with that alone, you're already face tanking everything in the game. Plus, just holding block with your shield, you're literally just brain dead. You're literally just brain dead. You don't have to do anything, which is insane. Yeah, it's like you said. Anything that you find adds defense, just stack it, and it just becomes good. And that applies for literally anything in this game, by the way. On its own, it sucks. Stack it, it becomes good. That's just #1 rule of thumb for Grounded. Doesn't matter what it is, or what you're doing. I'm gonna have to trash both anyways, so it doesn't matter. Alternatively, what you could go for is damage, though this is a very, very high skill build. But this is just to really emphasize the fact that stacking is what matters, not the actual stats themselves. No, don't do that. What am I doing? It's a little bit of a spoiler for new video I'm making, but right here, this is a 5x Widow on WoW, so my damage has been reduced by 20%, right? Look at how much damage I'm doing. I've barely gotten 2 hits off. I've already deleted, like, that much of her health. What is this, bro? Like, what has passed? Like, 10 seconds? I've deleted a quarter of this thing's health? That would be enough to kill a Widow in normal WoW. Just so you're aware. That short amount of gameplay. I'm not even playing well either. That's the horrifying thing. I don't think I'm using every single damage buff in the game either, so legitimately, stacking is the way to go. Doesn't matter what it is. I'm gonna get one more IBM before stream ends. Oh, I need more shields too. If I need more shields, I mean I need a shield. not completely fucked. I know it loves to lag sometimes. Okay. So stacking defense is really good for bigger hitters, and stacking damage is really good for everything if you have the skill. Yeah. Koi Scale Armor does. Koi Scale Armor is your best friend. I know it's Koi Scale Armor. You are a glass cannon. Whatever amount of defense you have, say bye-bye to it. Because you will genuinely get one tapped by like half the cast and two tapped by the rest. Koi Scale Armor, you need peak skill in order to use it effectively. Fire Ant Armor is a decent substitute though. Fire Armor, it doesn't do as much, but it does nearly as much. And again, stacking is what matters. Yeah, Koi Scale Armor also increases your parry windows, so yeah, I would recommend for you use Fire Ant Armor. Don't use Koi until like you really get comfortable WoW, because Koi Scale is super punishing if you don't use everything correctly. But yeah, for heavy hitters, high defense, like particularly against things like the Infected Wolf Spider, the Widow, even things like Antlions, Roly Poly Armor with that setup I gave, really, really strong. It especially shines on things like the Mantis. Though I will warn you, you can, with that build, you can face tank almost everything in the game. You can literally kill them without blocking once while heal spamming. The Mantis and the IBM are two of the bosses you just cannot feasibly do that with. The lead is too strong, and the IBM, well, she reduces your healing effectiveness and takes way too long to kill, so don't try it against the IBM, like, the just face tank, but it's still really great for those bosses, because again, literally all you do... Oh, I'm gonna hide behind my shield. You can't do anything. Haha, skill issue, skill issue. Alright, let me kill this IBM real quick. Phase 1. Yo! Keep rolling the easy IBMs, bro. Keep rolling them. What are we doing? Oh yeah, and this is like way later down the line, but if you can, once you get some New Game Plus, I highly, highly, highly recommend you use Mad Scientist with the Pinchwhacker, Samurai with the Koltana, or any katana-based weapon, and Spicy Mage with Spicy Staff. Because those will increase your attack speed, like you're seeing here. That's why I'm attacking so fast. And that will literally triple, if not quintuple your DPS. Which, I don't think I need to explain why that's good. The only downfall is everything besides Mad Scientist, which you should definitely do last because it takes the longest to buff. Everything aside from Mad Scientist does go away if you get hit even a single time by literally anything. So, do keep that in mind. It's great for bosses like the IBM, though. Fuck. I have to reapply my buffs. Yeah, you can see those speed buffs in the bottom left getting added. Oh, barely caught that. That was a perfect parry, I think. What does she actually do against me when she dies? Yeah, what does she actually do? Alright. Fuck. I shouldn't have unpaused the game. My bad. Okay. No new chats anyways. What was that, bro? What was that? You are the ground at this point, like, we get it. You're gonna scream. No! Bro, when was your last scream? Like... I'm not gonna risk this. Overall, increasing your damage, stacking percentage, yeah. If you want to, like I said, if you want anything to be good, stack it. That's just the way to go. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of people love to run, like, whatchamacallit, jack of all trades builds, where, like, they have all this defense, all this damage. The problem is, with how percents work, is, like, you're not getting good of everything, you're getting mid of everything, right? So again, if you want something to be effective, stack it. If you don't stack it, then try to go for, like, everything all at once. So, yeah, it's either you're decent at everything or you're great at something. That's basically what it is. It honestly just takes a lot of trial and error, because each creature has a different fighting style and a specific counter to that fighting style. Assassin's Armor, it's alright, honestly. You'd need to run crits in order for it to be viable, which is definitely possible. You have the Mantis Trinket. Yeah, Mantis Trinkets. Yeah, for Assassin's Armor to work, you would need the Scythe of Blossoms, you would need Apex Predator, Coup de Grace, Trapper Peeper, Boss Sauce in order to run reliably, Spider Slider or Perfect Toast, depending on what stage you're at. You're just gonna worry about Spider Slider, which you need Nectar for. Annoying. You get that from parkouring on top of the roses in the garden, by the way, which is why it's annoying. Um, what else? What else would you want with that build? The Mantis Trinket, which you get by stealing or just having really good loot luck. Honestly, just get Dissection Expert and rub the Stuffed Mantis. You should get it within like 10 kills. If you don't, you're unlucky. I feel bad. Been there. Yeah, that's pretty much the only way Assassin's Armor is viable. You will be relatively squishy with that build, though. Just beware of that. go on to phase 3. I somehow had a feeling you'd do that. Bro, how did that hit? Bro, you're cringe. There's no other way to put it. Nice. How do I avoid that? Bro, how do I avoid that? No, you're dead. Fucked. Okay. Nice. Also, fun fact, if you hit these, they will actually start dropping. So, yeah, keep that in mind. Does look like they have to be hit directly, though. Or maybe that one's just a little bit autistic. I don't know. I literally just showed it worked, so maybe that one's just autistic. I don't know. Maybe it's only the ones close to the ground that you can actually trigger. I know one of these can also be triggered as well. Yeah, that one. That's so goofy that you can do that. Does a lot of damage too, so that actually is kind of a strat for like PvP or something. I don't know. I don't know why you would be fighting the IBM in PvP unless it was like a self-imposed challenge. What are these effects? The bandies because I'm too lazy to craft them. Right. Okay. Apparently it did not take ooze to craft that. Or sorry, a deduper jelly. I sincerely just don't believe that, but you know what? Whatever. Whatever you say. Ah. I mean, I guess I could. Yeah, I'll do that next stream. Yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed. If you liked the stream, like it. If it disliked it, dislike it. And for those of you watching the VODs,